Ethan Hale's boots crunched softly against the metal floor of the shuttle as it descended toward the planet's surface. He pressed his hand against the railing, staring out at the world below. Arendor was nothing like Earth. Its forests glowed with shades of green and blue, the trees tall and translucent, almost like crystal. Rivers of liquid light twisted and turned across the land, reflecting the pale sun in brilliant streaks of color. Ethan felt his chest tighten. The planet was beautiful. It was also alien. He had trained for years to be a soldier, but this mission was different. The humans were here not to fight, but to meet the Arendorians, the planet's native species. Ethan had read reports describing them as tall, elegant beings with silver skin and eyes that seemed to reflect the stars. He had seen holograms of their cities built into cliffs and crystal forests, but nothing could prepare him for the reality. Beside him, Captain Rena Caldwell, the human team's leader, tapped her clipboard. "Remember, Hale," she said, her voice firm but calm. "This isn't a combat mission. We are here to represent Earth. Observe, learn, and stay respectful. Understood?" "Yes, ma'am," Ethan replied, though a knot of anxiety twisted in his stomach. He was the youngest on the team, barely 21. The older soldiers had decades of experience in space missions. He had been chosen for his quick thinking and adaptability, but now, standing on the shuttle, he wondered if he was really ready. The shuttle's ramp lowered with a hiss, and the team stepped onto Arendor's surface. Ethan felt the ground beneath him hum with life. The air was different, thicker, warmer, and slightly sweet, carrying a hint of flowers he had never smelled before. He breathed deeply. It was intoxicating. A group of Arendorians awaited them. They were even taller than Ethan had imagined, moving with a grace that made humans look clumsy. Their silver-blue skin shimmered under the sunlight, and their eyes glowed faintly. Ethan felt their gaze settle on him and felt a strange warmth, almost as if they could see through him. At the front of the group stood a figure who drew Ethan's attention immediately. Princess Leora. She was radiant, her long hair flowing like liquid silver. Her eyes were deep, reflecting every color of the forests around them. Ethan found himself staring, unsure whether it was awe or fear, or perhaps both. Princess Leora spoke, her voice clear and melodic, though none of the humans could understand her words. A translator device activated, and her message came through in perfect English. "Welcome, visitors from Earth, we have awaited your arrival." The humans stepped forward, bowing slightly in respect. Captain Caldwell responded, "On behalf of Earth, we bring greetings and hope for friendship between our worlds." There was a silence that seemed to stretch for a long moment. Then Princess Leora's lips curved into a faint smile. She gestured toward the forest beyond, signaling the humans to follow. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest. Every step he took on this alien soil felt like stepping into a story, a tale of adventure that he had only dreamed about. As they walked through the glowing forest, Ethan noticed details that were mesmerizing. The trees pulsed faintly as if alive. Strange creatures moved in the shadows, some with wings of shimmering light, others with bodies like flowing water. The humans moved carefully, not wanting to disturb the delicate balance of this world. Ethan tried to make conversation with his teammates, but the words felt hollow. He couldn't stop thinking about the princess. There was something about her gaze, steady and calm, that made him feel both exposed and safe at the same time. He shook his head, trying to focus. This was a mission, not a personal matter. Finally, they arrived at the Arendorian palace. It rose from the ground like a crystal tower, its surface catching the sunlight and scattering it into brilliant colors. Ethan's jaw dropped. The palace seemed alive, humming softly as if it were aware of their presence. Inside, the humans were guided into a grand hall. The floor was transparent, revealing the forest below, and the walls glimmered like liquid glass. Ethan felt dizzy with awe. He had seen wonders in simulations and virtual reality, but this was real and breathtaking. Princess Leora approached him, her eyes locking onto his. Ethan felt a strange pull, a connection he couldn't explain. She nodded slightly, as if acknowledging something only she could see. Ethan's face flushed. He cleared his throat and tried to focus. Captain Caldwell spoke first, presenting the team and their purpose. "We are here to strengthen the bonds of friendship and cooperation. Earth hopes to learn from your knowledge and share our own experiences." Princess Leora listened intently, then gestured to a holographic map of Arendor that appeared in the air. She spoke, and the translator device interpreted her words. Your journey will not be easy. Many challenges await, but those who walk this path with courage and honor will find their place among us. Ethan felt a chill. She wasn't just welcoming them. She was warning them. This world was full of beauty, yes, but also dangers they could not yet see. After the formal greetings, the humans were allowed to explore the palace grounds. Ethan wandered through gardens filled with glowing flowers and streams of sparkling water. He noticed small Arendorian children playing, their laughter like music. One of them looked at him curiously, then ran away, beckoning him to follow. Ethan hesitated but then walked after the child, feeling a strange sense of peace. The child led him to a quiet glade, where sunlight filtered through the crystal trees. Ethan knelt to watch as small creatures, almost like floating fireflies, danced in the air. He smiled, a sense of wonder washing over him. Here, in this alien world, he felt small but connected, a part of something greater than himself. Suddenly, a shadow fell over him. He looked up to see Princess Leora standing there, her eyes fixed on him. You are different from the others, she said, her voice calm but full of curiosity. You see things we often overlook. Ethan blinked, unsure how to respond. I just try to notice what's around me, he said finally, his voice quiet. She nodded slowly. Perhaps you are ready for what is to come. But readiness is only the beginning. You will be tested in ways you cannot imagine. Before he could ask what she meant, a sharp alarm echoed through the palace. Lights flashed and the walls shimmered as if reacting to an invisible threat. Captain Caldwell's voice came through their communicators. All units report to your stations. Unknown ships detected approaching Arendor. Panic rippled through the human team, but Ethan felt a strange calm. He looked at Princess Leora, who stood firm, her eyes scanning the horizon. She turned to him and said, Courage alone will not be enough. You will need your mind, your heart, and your instincts. The shuttle ride, the forest, the palace, all of it had led to this moment. Ethan straightened, his fear replaced by determination. He might be the youngest, the least experienced, but he would face whatever came with everything he had. As the first glimpses of the approaching ships appeared in the sky, Ethan knew one thing clearly. His life had changed forever. Arendor was no longer just a distant planet. It was a challenge, a responsibility, and perhaps a place where his true potential could shine. Princess Leora's gaze held him for a final moment before she turned to address the court. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of expectation but also the excitement of possibility. Somewhere deep inside, he felt ready. And so, on that alien world, surrounded by glowing forests and towering crystal palaces, the young human soldier prepared for a journey unlike any he had ever imagined. The adventure had begun. The next morning, Ethan woke to the soft glow of Arendor's twin suns filtering through the crystal walls of the palace. Outside, the forest pulsed gently as if welcoming the day. Ethan rubbed his eyes and tried to shake the tension from the previous day. The arrival of the mysterious ships in the sky had left everyone on edge. Captain Caldwell appeared at his doorway. Hail, breakfast is ready. And you should know, today is important, she said, her tone serious. Ethan nodded, unsure what she meant. In the dining hall, the humans and Arendorians sat together at long tables made of polished crystal. The food was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. Glowing fruits that floated slightly above their plates and small creatures that shimmered as they moved. Ethan hesitated before tasting a piece but found it sweet and refreshing. Once everyone had eaten, Princess Leora entered the hall. The room fell silent. Her presence commanded attention without effort. She moved with grace, her silver robes brushing the crystal floor, and her eyes scanned the room with curiosity. You have arrived on our world, she began, her translator device rendering her voice into clear English. But arrival is only the beginning. To earn the trust of Arendor, you must face the trial of trust. Ethan blinked. Trial of trust? He repeated softly, glancing at Captain Caldwell. She nodded slightly, her expression unreadable. The trial is a tradition, Leora explained. It is not meant to harm, but to test courage, wisdom, and heart. Those who succeed may become allies. Those who fail must continue to learn before they can walk among us. Ethan's stomach tightened. A test? In a world full of alien beings far stronger and faster than humans. He swallowed hard. The humans were led to a vast arena surrounded by crystal spires that reflected the sunlight. Other participants, Arendorians of varying ages and abilities, moved with confidence. Ethan felt small and out of place. The alien competitors towered over him, their movements precise and fluid. The first challenge was one of agility. Platforms floated above a pit of glowing mist, moving unpredictably. Competitors were to reach the other side without falling. Ethan watched as the Arendorians leapt effortlessly, their limbs bending in ways humans could not. His own first attempt nearly ended in disaster when he slipped, catching himself on a ledge with a burst of adrenaline. "Focus, Hale," Captain Caldwell's voice echoed in his communicator. "Use your instincts." Taking a deep breath, Ethan analyzed the pattern of the platforms. He noticed subtle cues in their movement and timing, something the alien seemed to take for granted. Carefully, he began moving, matching the rhythm of the floating platforms. Step by step, he reached the far side. A murmur ran through the audience. Princess Leora watched him, her head tilted slightly as if intrigued by the human who did not give up. Ethan felt a spark of pride, but he knew this was only the beginning. Next came a test of intelligence. Competitors faced a series of intricate puzzles, glowing symbols suspended in midair. Each puzzle required understanding patterns, logic, and timing. Many of the aliens solved them quickly, their eyes scanning the symbols with ease. Ethan felt overwhelmed at first. He studied the puzzles, tried different approaches, and relied on his human training in problem-solving. He remembered something his father had told him before leaving Earth. When others see limits, find the path between them. Ethan closed his eyes for a moment, cleared his mind, and tried to see the patterns not as obstacles but as a sequence. Slowly, one by one, the puzzles clicked into place. The floating symbols aligned, forming a glowing path forward. Again, the audience reacted, whispering among themselves. Princess Leora's eyes lingered on Ethan, her gaze unreadable but not unkind. The final challenge was the most unexpected. A small Arendorian child, no more than 6, was placed at the center of a ring. Competitors were tasked with retrieving a glowing crystal from the opposite side of the arena. However, the catch was that the child could move unpredictably, and any harm to the child meant immediate failure. Many of the aliens hesitated, unsure how to proceed without risking the child. Ethan's instincts kicked in. He moved cautiously, keeping the child in his sight at all times. When the child wandered into danger, Ethan adjusted his path, using his body to shield the child from harm. He spoke softly, hoping the tone of his voice would reassure the small alien. At one point, the child slipped and nearly fell into a pit of mist. Without thinking, Ethan lunged forward and caught the child, holding them safely against his chest. The crowd gasped. He felt the child's tiny hands clutching him, trust evident in their wide eyes. Princess Leora stepped forward, her eyes shining with approval. "Courage and care," she said, her translator device interpreting. "These are qualities we value more than strength or speed." The trial ended, and Ethan felt a mixture of exhaustion and relief. His human abilities, his quick thinking, compassion, and courage, had allowed him to succeed where others might have failed. He looked around and saw that the aliens, once distant and inscrutable, now regarded him with curiosity and respect. Captain Caldwell approached, her expression softening. "Well done, Hale, you held your own. I knew humans had potential, but you exceeded expectations." Ethan shook his head, still catching his breath. "I just did what felt right," he admitted. Later, as the sun dipped low in the sky, the participants gathered in the palace courtyard. The Arendorians spoke among themselves in soft, melodic tones. Ethan could not understand their words, but the atmosphere was charged with energy. Princess Leora approached him once more. "You have passed the trial of trust," she said, her voice calm but full of meaning. "Not all who arrive can do so. You have shown courage, wisdom, and heart. These qualities may be the key to what is coming." Ethan felt a shiver run down his spine. What was coming? He had no answers, only a sense that the planet held secrets yet to be revealed. As the stars began to appear in the sky, shimmering over the glowing forests, Ethan found a quiet moment to reflect. He had come to Arendor as a soldier, uncertain and inexperienced. Now he was something more. He had proven that humanity's strength was not in raw power or advanced technology alone, but in courage, compassion, and the ability to think and act in ways no alien could predict. The humans and aliens ate together that night, sharing stories and laughter. Ethan listened, fascinated by their tales of ancient history, culture, and wisdom. He realized that despite the differences, there were shared values, honor, respect, and the desire to protect what one loves. Princess Leora joined him at the edge of the courtyard, looking out at the glowing rivers. Ethan glanced at her, unsure if she had noticed him noticing her. She spoke softly, though the translator device made her words clear. "Do not underestimate yourself, Ethan Hale. The journey ahead will test you in ways you cannot imagine, but you have the qualities we cannot teach. Perhaps you were meant to be here." Ethan felt a mixture of pride and humility. He wanted to ask what she meant, but somehow he knew answers would come in time. For now, he simply nodded. That night, as he lay beneath a canopy of softly glowing leaves, Ethan thought about the trial, the child, and Princess Leora's words. The trial of trust had been more than a test of skill. It had been a revelation. Humanity had value beyond technology and strength. Their creativity, empathy, and courage made them unique. Ethan closed his eyes, feeling a new sense of purpose. He was no longer just a soldier on a diplomatic mission. He was a representative of Earth, a bridge between worlds, and perhaps a key player in the story Arendor had been waiting for. Outside, the forest whispered in the alien night, glowing softly as the stars above mirrored the light below. Ethan felt the weight of the future pressing on him, but also a spark of excitement. The trial of trust was over, but the real challenges had only just begun. Somewhere in the distance, he thought he saw Princess Leora watching over the palace grounds. Her presence was both a comfort and a mystery, and Ethan wondered what role he would play in the days to come. For the first time, he felt that being human, his heart, his mind, and his courage, could truly make a difference. And on Arendor, a planet full of wonder and danger, that difference might soon change everything. The morning air on Arendor was crisp and shimmering with the light of the twin suns. Ethan Hale walked through the palace gardens, still feeling the pride of having passed the trial of trust. The glowing flowers swayed in the soft wind, their colors reflecting on the crystal pathways. Despite the beauty around him, a quiet tension lingered in the air. The events of the previous day, the trial, the arrival of humans, and Princess Leora's cryptic words made him feel that something larger was waiting just beyond the horizon. Captain Caldwell approached him, her steps precise and calm. "Hale," she said, her voice low. "The sensors have detected unknown ships in the outer orbit. We don't know if they are hostile, but we need to be ready." Ethan's heart skipped a beat. The same feeling of unease he had felt on arrival returned, sharper this time. "Unknown ships?" he asked. "Could they be explorers like us?" "Possibly," she replied, eyes scanning the sky. "But we cannot take chances. Prepare for the worst." Before Ethan could respond, a holographic display lit up in the palace courtyard. Princess Leora's voice rang through the air. "Arendor is threatened. Hostile forces approach our world. We must act swiftly to protect it." Ethan and the humans followed her as she led them to a command center overlooking the planet's skies. Hundreds of Arendorians moved with purpose, their actions coordinated with precision. Ethan felt out of place at first, but he reminded himself that he had passed the trial of trust. If anyone could contribute, it might be him. Princess Leora gestured to a massive holographic map showing the approaching fleet. Ships of dark metal and sharp angles moved rapidly toward Arendor's atmosphere. Ethan's stomach tightened. The ships looked menacing, completely different from the sleek, glowing designs of the Arendorians. "These are the Varkari," Leora explained, her voice steady. "A species known for conquest and destruction. They have never faced resistance from Arendor before. We must unite to defend our planet." Ethan swallowed hard. He had trained for combat scenarios on Earth, but this was something entirely different. These were alien ships threatening an entire planet. He looked at Leora and then at the other humans. Captain Caldwell's expression was focused but tense. "Ethan," she said quietly, "we need your input. The Arendorians are strong, but their strategy is untested against this fleet. You think differently. Use that." Ethan took a deep breath and stepped forward. He studied the holographic map, observing the fleet's formation and patterns. "What if we combine your technology with ours?" he suggested. "We could set traps using human tactics, misdirection, decoys, and coordinated strikes. We can't match their numbers head-on, but we can outthink them." Leora raised an eyebrow. "You would risk human and Arendorian lives in a bold maneuver?" Ethan nodded. I know it's risky, but we might not have another choice. I can lead a strike team to disable their command ships. It could turn the tide of the battle. The command center fell silent. Many Arendorians looked skeptical, whispering in their melodic language. Then Leora studied Ethan for a long moment. Finally, she nodded. Very well. You will lead this mission. But know this. Failure is not an option. Over the next few hours, Ethan worked closely with Arendorian engineers and strategists. He quickly realized that the humans' adaptability and ingenuity complemented the aliens' advanced technology. Together, they developed a plan. A small strike team would infiltrate the enemy formation, targeting key command vessels while the main Arendorian fleet engaged them elsewhere. Ethan trained with a small group of volunteers, both humans and Arendorians. The aliens marveled at the humans' improvisation skills, while Ethan was in awe of their ability to analyze and adapt in real time. Despite cultural and biological differences, they worked together seamlessly. As the fleet of Varkari ships neared Arendor, the sky darkened. Ethan climbed to the observation platform, staring at the vast armada. Hundreds of ships stretched across the horizon, their dark hulls absorbing light like shadows. He felt a knot of fear in his chest, but beneath it was a growing sense of determination. Princess Leora appeared beside him. Ethan, hail, she said, her voice calm but resolute. You have the courage to stand before danger and the mind to guide others through it. This is why I chose to trust you. Remember, bravery alone will not win this battle. You must think, adapt, and protect those who rely on you. Ethan nodded. I understand, he said. I won't let you down. The battle began as the Varkari ships entered Arendor's atmosphere. Energy beams streaked across the sky, colliding with shields of light and crystal. The ground trembled with the power of their weapons. Ethan's strike team boarded their ships, a mix of human and Arendorian pilots ready for action. As they approached the enemy formation, Ethan could see the Varkari vessels coordinating attacks with ruthless precision. But he had noticed a pattern. The fleet's communication relied on predictable pulses of energy. Using a combination of human intuition and Arendorian technology, Ethan led the strike team to exploit these weaknesses. Dodging energy blasts and weaving through enemy fire, they approached the command ships. Ethan's heart raced, but he focused on the task at hand. Using precise maneuvers, they planted devices designed to disrupt the Varkari's navigation systems. Explosions rippled across the formation, causing confusion among the enemy ranks. Meanwhile, the main Arendorian fleet engaged the remaining ships, capitalizing on the chaos Ethan's team had created. Humans and Arendorians fought side by side, their combined efforts proving more effective than anyone could have imagined. During the heat of battle, one Varkari ship broke formation and targeted the palace. Ethan saw it on his sensors and realized he had only seconds to act. He coordinated a daring maneuver with Leora, who had taken to the skies in her own vessel. Together, they intercepted the ship, using their combined skills to disable it before it could reach the planet's surface. The sky was filled with flashes of light, the hum of energy weapons, and the roar of engines. Amidst the chaos, Ethan felt a deep sense of pride. Humans were not the strongest or the fastest, but their courage, creativity, and adaptability made them invaluable. Finally, the battle reached its climax. The Varkari command ships were disabled, and their fleet, leaderless and confused, began to retreat. Ethan watched as the dark ships disappeared beyond the horizon, leaving Arendor's skies glowing with victory. The strike team returned to the palace, exhausted but triumphant. Princess Leora greeted them, her eyes shining. You have done more than we could have imagined, she said. Not all who come from other worlds have the wisdom to act as you did. You have earned our trust and our respect. Ethan felt a rush of relief and pride. He looked around at the Arendorian team members and his human comrades. Together they had faced a threat that seemed impossible and emerged victorious. Captain Caldwell clapped him on the shoulder. Hail, you proved that humans are more than we give ourselves credit for, she said, smiling. Today you showed courage, strategy, and heart. That's what matters in the end. Later, as the sun set over the glowing forests, Ethan found himself in a quiet courtyard, reflecting on the day's events. He had faced fear, made critical decisions, and worked with beings completely different from himself. Yet in that collaboration he had discovered a truth. Humanity's greatest strength lay not in technology or raw power, but in courage, adaptability, and compassion. Princess Leora joined him silently, gazing at the horizon. Ethan glanced at her, unsure if she would speak. Finally, she said, "Ethan Hale, today you showed that trust is earned not through strength alone, but through action and heart. This is why I chose to watch you. You may yet become a symbol for both our worlds." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, a mix of honor and responsibility. He realized that this was only the beginning. Arendor had been threatened and the humans had proven themselves, but the future held more challenges, and he would face them, ready to show what humanity could achieve. As the night fell and stars twinkled above the glowing forests, Ethan knew one thing clearly. He was no longer just a soldier on a mission. He was a bridge between worlds, a symbol of hope, and a reminder that even the smallest being could make a difference when courage and heart led the way. And somewhere deep in the palace, Princess Leora watched over Arendor, knowing that the young human soldier she had chosen might hold the key to the planet's future. The morning air over Arendor was heavy with tension. Smoke from the previous day's skirmishes lingered in the glowing forests, and the skies above shimmered with an eerie light. Ethan Hale stood at the edge of the Crystal Palace, staring at the horizon. Hundreds of Varkari ships had regrouped after their retreat, and intelligence reports warned that a full-scale attack was imminent. Captain Caldwell approached him, her expression firm. "Hale, this is it. The Varkari are coming back, bigger and stronger. We'll need everything we have, and then some, to defend this planet." Ethan clenched his fists. He had faced fear before, but this battle felt different. This wasn't just about strategy or skill. It was about survival. He was not just fighting for himself, but for Arendor and the people who had welcomed him. Princess Leora arrived beside him, her silver robes glowing faintly in the morning sun. "Ethan Hale," she said, her voice calm but powerful, "today you will lead not only humans but our allies. The Varkari underestimate us because of our differences. Together, we will show them the strength of unity." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He glanced at the human soldiers and Arendorian pilots assembling around him. Together they formed a striking contrast. Human determination paired with alien elegance and technology. The Varkari would soon realize that strength alone would not win this battle. As the first Varkari ships reappeared on the horizon, a low rumble filled the sky. Energy beams streaked across the clouds, colliding with shields that shimmered like liquid crystal. Ethan climbed into the cockpit of his strike craft, his fingers steady on the controls. Beside him, a young Arendorian pilot, Lyran, adjusted her visor and nodded. "We fight as one," she said. Ethan replied, "We fight smart." The first wave of enemy ships advanced. Ethan's team moved with precision, weaving between energy blasts and dodging debris from previous skirmishes. The humans used their quick thinking to improvise traps and distractions, while the Arendorians provided advanced energy shields and long-range attacks. Ethan noticed a Varkari command ship at the center of the formation, larger and more heavily armed than the others. "That's our target," he said into his communicator. "If we take it out, the rest will falter." The team split into two groups. Ethan led the first, weaving through a barrage of enemy fire. His heart pounded, but his mind stayed sharp. He coordinated the team's movements, directing humans and Arendorians alike. Each action was precise, combining human intuition with alien skill. Suddenly, a Varkari ship broke through their formation, aiming straight for the palace. Ethan's eyes widened. "Lyran, intercept it! I'll handle the command ship." Lyran shot forward, her ship twisting gracefully through enemy fire. Ethan pushed his craft to the limit, dodging energy blasts and using clever maneuvers to approach the command vessel. He planted the disruption devices they had prepared, causing sparks and alarms to ripple through the Varkari ship. Meanwhile, Lyran engaged the rogue ship, using her agility and Ethan's guidance through the communicator. The ship spiraled and crashed into the forest below, leaving a small plume of smoke. Ethan exhaled, but there was no time to relax. The battle was far from over. The main fleet was now in disarray. The Varkari ships, leaderless and confused, scrambled to regroup. Ethan's team capitalized on this, striking key targets with precision. Humans devised traps using debris and energy pulses, while Arendorians used their advanced weapons to disable shields and engines. During a brief lull in the battle, Ethan saw Princess Leora flying through the sky in her own craft, coordinating attacks and inspiring her people. She moved with grace, her eyes focused yet calm, her presence a beacon of hope. Ethan realized that her strength was not just in skill, but in her ability to unite others in the face of danger. Suddenly, a massive Varkari ship appeared, larger than anything Ethan had seen. Its dark hull absorbed light and its weapons glowed with dangerous energy. The ship aimed directly for the palace, threatening to destroy the heart of Arendor. Ethan's team prepared for the final strike. He felt a surge of determination. "We protect this planet. Together," he said. The strike team launched a coordinated attack. Humans and Arendorians worked seamlessly, using strategy, agility, and precision. Ethan guided his craft through enemy fire, planting devices to disable the massive ship's engines. Lyran and other pilots attacked weak points, distracting its gunners and creating openings. Princess Leora joined the assault, her craft moving with unmatched elegance. She fired energy pulses that synchronized perfectly with Ethan's maneuvers, amplifying the effectiveness of the attack. The massive Varkari ship shuddered under their combined assault. Ethan remembered what had made humans special during the trial of trust: creativity and courage. Thinking quickly, he devised a risky plan. He would lure the ship into a canyon filled with crystal formations. If the plan worked, the ship would be trapped, giving the fleet a chance to finish it off. He communicated the plan to Lyran and the team. "It's dangerous," he warned. "But it's our best chance," the team nodded, trusting him. Ethan led the massive Varkari ship toward the canyon, weaving through the crystals with precision. The enemy fired relentlessly, but Ethan's skill and quick thinking kept them out of harm's way. Finally, the ship collided with the crystal walls, energy beams ricocheting and causing a massive explosion that disabled its engines. The rest of the Varkari fleet, seeing their command ship destroyed, began to retreat. Arendor's skies, once filled with chaos, grew calm as the threat receded. Ethan's team cheered, exhausted but victorious. The strike team returned to the palace, greeted by cheers from humans and Arendorians alike. Princess Leora descended from the sky, her craft landing smoothly beside Ethan. She extended her hand, a gesture of respect and gratitude. "You have done more than anyone could have expected," she said. "Your courage, intelligence, and heart have saved our world. Humans are stronger than we imagined." Ethan shook her hand, humbled. "We did it together," he said. "Humans and Arendorians." Captain Caldwell approached, smiling broadly. "Hale, you've proven that humanity has something unique. Today, courage and creativity made the difference." Ethan looked at the glowing forests, the crystal structures, and the people who had fought beside him. He realized that this victory was more than just defeating the Varkari. It was proof that humans, despite being outnumbered and outmatched, could make a difference. As the sun set, casting golden light over the planet, Ethan found a quiet spot overlooking the battlefield. He thought about the trial of trust, the battle, and the people who had come to trust him. For the first time, he felt a sense of belonging on this alien world. Princess Leora appeared beside him. "Ethan Hale," she said softly, her eyes reflecting the glow of the sunset. "You have shown that strength comes from more than power. You have shown wisdom, courage, and heart. This is why I chose to watch you. You may yet become a symbol for both our worlds." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest, a mixture of pride and responsibility. He had faced fear, led others, and proven that humans could stand alongside the most advanced species in the galaxy. Yet he knew that the journey was not over. Arendor had been saved for now, but the universe was vast, and new challenges awaited. As night fell and the stars shimmered above the glowing forests, Ethan made a silent promise. He would continue to protect Arendor, learn from its people, and show the strength of humanity wherever it was needed. And somewhere in the Crystal Palace, Princess Leora watched the young human soldier, knowing that his courage and heart would shape the future of their worlds. Ethan Hale had become more than a soldier. He was a hero, a leader, and a bridge between humans and Arendorians, and this was only the beginning. The Crystal Palace of Arendor shimmered under the light of the twin suns, casting rainbows across the streets and gardens. The battle had ended, the Varkari fleet defeated and retreating into the dark reaches of space. Arendor was safe, and its people celebrated their victory with joy and relief. Yet there was one final event that would define the future of the planet and the bond between worlds. The grand ceremony in the palace courtyard. Ethan Hale stood at the edge of the courtyard, his uniform slightly scuffed from the battle, his face showing fatigue but also pride. He had led the strike team, helped defend Arendor, and earned the respect of an entire alien civilization. The humans and Arendorians gathered around, creating a sea of faces filled with gratitude, admiration, and hope. Princess Leora appeared atop the crystal staircase, her silver robes catching the sunlight, reflecting it in waves of color. The crowd fell silent immediately, all eyes turning to the princess. Ethan felt his chest tighten. There was something commanding yet serene about her presence. She had watched him, trained with him in the skies, and fought beside him, and now she was about to make a choice that would echo across Arendor. "You have faced fear," Leora began, her voice amplified across the courtyard through the translator device. "You have shown courage when many would falter. You have shown wisdom when many would act blindly. And you have shown heart, compassion and care that even the strongest could not match." Ethan swallowed hard. He felt the eyes of both humans and Arendorians on him. He had expected praise, respect, maybe recognition, but the weight of what she was about to say made him nervous. "The future of Arendor is uncertain," Leora continued. "Our planet is strong, but the universe is vast and full of threats. Alliances must be forged not only through strength but through trust, courage, and wisdom. Today we honor those who have proven themselves capable of guiding us forward." She paused, letting the words sink in. The courtyard was silent except for the soft hum of crystal structures and the distant chirping of alien creatures. Then Leora's eyes scanned the crowd, finally resting on Ethan. "And among all those who have come to our world," she said, her voice softening, "there is one whose actions have shown that he carries the qualities we value above all else." Ethan felt a strange warmth spread through him. His heart pounded, but he tried to remain calm. Leora lifted her hand, pointing directly at him. "I choose him," she announced, her voice carrying across the courtyard. A wave of murmurs spread through the crowd. Humans exchanged surprised glances, unsure if they understood the significance. The Arendorians, however, nodded and whispered among themselves, acknowledging the gravity of the moment. Ethan's first reaction was disbelief. "Me?" he thought. "Why me?" Leora stepped down the staircase and approached him, her eyes calm and steady. "You have shown what many from other worlds cannot. You have shown courage without arrogance, wisdom without pride, and compassion without hesitation. These are qualities that unite, that inspire, that guide." Ethan felt a mix of honor, humility, and a little fear. He had never expected this. He had only tried to do his duty, to help protect the planet and its people. And now, the princess of an alien world was recognizing him, not for his rank or his skills or his species, but for who he was. Captain Caldwell approached him, her eyes proud. "Hale, this is a rare honor," she said quietly. "You've proven the strength of humanity today, not in weapons or ships, but in heart and action." Ethan nodded, still trying to process it all. I don't know what to say," he admitted. "Say nothing," Leora replied gently. "Let your actions continue to speak." The ceremony continued, with celebrations echoing through the Crystal Palace and into the glowing forests of Arendor. Music filled the air, alien melodies that were unlike anything Ethan had ever heard, yet somehow comforting. Humans and Arendorians danced together, shared food and stories, and laughed freely for the first time in days. Ethan found himself walking with Leora through a quiet section of the palace gardens. The glowing flowers cast gentle light over the path, and the crystal trees swayed as if celebrating their victory. "You did not just win a battle," Leora said softly, her eyes reflecting the forest's glow. "You showed us that courage, compassion, and ingenuity can change the outcome even when the odds seem impossible." "That is why I chose you." Ethan looked at her, humbled. "I only did what I thought was right. I had help, from the Arendorians and the other humans. Without everyone, we wouldn't have won." "And yet," Leora replied, "it was your choices that made the difference. Many would have frozen. Many would have panicked. But you acted. That is why you are worthy." Ethan felt a new sense of purpose rising in him. He had come to Arendor as a young soldier, uncertain and inexperienced. Now he was a symbol, not just of humanity, but of cooperation, courage, and hope. He realized that being human meant having the ability to adapt, to think creatively and to act with heart. That was their strength. Later, Ethan stood at the edge of the palace looking over the glowing rivers and crystal forests. The celebrations continued below and the stars began to appear in the sky. He felt a deep sense of connection, not just to Arendor, but to the people who had trusted him, fought alongside him, and seen him as more than just a human soldier. Princess Leora joined him once again. "The future is uncertain," she said, her voice soft and thoughtful. "But with courage and heart we can face anything. You have shown that humanity can be a beacon of hope for our worlds." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight and honor of her words. "I'll do my best," he said. "Not just for Arendor, but for all of us. Humans and Arendorians together." Leora smiled, a calm and knowing smile. "That is all I could hope for." As night fully descended, the crystal palace glowed under the light of countless stars. Fires burned in the gardens, music filled the air, and the people of Arendor celebrated not just victory, but the unity that had made it possible. Ethan walked among them, feeling a bond that went beyond language, species, or origin. He realized that being chosen by Princess Leora was more than a personal honor. It was a recognition of humanity's potential. Even in a galaxy filled with unknown threats and alien worlds, humans could make a difference through courage, creativity, and heart. The young soldier who had once doubted his own abilities now stood tall, knowing that he had earned his place among the stars. He was no longer just Ethan Hale from Earth. He was a symbol of hope, a bridge between worlds, and a reminder that even one individual, acting with courage and heart, could change the future. As he gazed at the glowing forests and crystal towers, Ethan knew that this was only the beginning. There would be new challenges, new journeys, and new threats to face. But with trust, courage, and unity, he and his allies could face anything. And somewhere nearby, Princess Leora watched him with quiet satisfaction, knowing that her choice, the young human soldier, would help shape the destiny of Arendor and beyond. Ethan smiled, feeling the strength of friendship, courage, and the human spirit. The stars above twinkled as if celebrating with him. In that moment, he understood something profound. True strength is not in power alone, but in heart, action, and the courage to stand for what is right. The story of Arendor and the young human soldier would be told for generations. A tale of hope, unity, and the limitless potential of humanity. Ethan Hale had been chosen, not because of his species, but because he had shown what it truly meant to be human. And in that choice, Arendor had found a hero and a friend for life.